This is a rental property for a customer of mine that I've done loads of work for in the past. The tenants have just moved out of it and the landlord wants to get it ready for the new tenants to move in, but he wants me to have a good check over the heating system to make sure that the valves are working, it's coming up to temperature, pressure's fine in it, and it's basically up and running. Things like checking the TRVs, make sure they're opening and coming up to temperature, checking to see if any rads have got any corrosion. We're going to come back to this one. And then also upstairs, again, another rad to check with a TRV. But if you look at the pin inside that vent plug, we can't vent the rad. There's no pin in it, we can't vent it. That means the air is just going to sit in the top of the rad and cause issues. Same on this one, vent pin snapped off. But luckily, because they're mice and style rads, we might be able to do an easy fix on it. Same that side. So both the vent pins on this rad are missing, so chances are that's never been vented. The tenant before they left said that this never ever got hot. So we've got a few things to look over in this rental to get it ready for my customer to get rented out again. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is turn the heating on and see exactly where we're at. Let's get on with it. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is well. This video is one that I was going to put into a bigger video, but the feedback I got off it after putting a little short together and putting it on Instagram, I thought, right, I'm going to do a standalone video on this. So it's fairly short, but it's one where I think a lot of people will have come across over the years. Mice and style rads particularly have these little vent plugs in the corner with a pin. Now these pins snap off. How many times have you been to jobs where these pins have snapped off? You can't vent the rad unless you undo the actual nut, but you don't want to do that because it's just going to cause issues. So what I did in this video was went online, found some vent pins, replacement vent pin plugs, and we swap them over. So it's a fairly straightforward video, but I think a lot of people will appreciate me putting it out. So let me know in the comments if you've ever had a problem with these vent plugs. As I said, I was going to put it out as a bigger video or attached into one of my jobbing videos, but I thought, no, I'm going to put it out as a standalone video. Also, let me know if you like the little shorter videos showing little small fixes on jobs as I go along, as opposed to a longer video with 3 or 4 different jobs in. I'm just trying to gauge something because I want to try and tweak something on the channel. But yeah, let me know. So anyway, short video. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, get subscribed to the channel. Really do appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next one. So first things first, let's get the heating on. Decorators are in, so they've covered up the time clock. Let's get the heating on constantly. Get some temperature in the rads. Check that all the TRVs are opening up and we can find out what rads are the problem and what rads are all right. So we turn the heating on, boiler's fired up. So what we've got here, Logic, Combi 24. I remember these when I used to do boiler fitting and stuff. These weren't bad boilers, to be honest. I always thought they were all right. So that's up and running. We'll get it up to temperature. I know the landlord's not long had that service. I think as soon as the tenants moved out, that was serviced, so that should be spot on. So we'll give it 10 minutes or so to get the heat into the system and we can go around and have a look. But look at these gate valves, you hardly ever see them now, and there's a reason for that, because they are an absolute nightmare. If ever you come across a gate valve, never touch it, never shut it off, never do anything with it. If you can, if you get the chance, cut it out, put a lever valve in there or a full bore isolation valve, because gate valves are a nightmare. They just sort of seize up over time. The way they work, it's like the brass actual shaft that moves down inside the gate valve just furs up, and I've had it before where you've tried to open it up and it's either snapped open or snapped shut. They just love to snap. So yeah, if you ever come across gate valves, get them out or don't touch them. Right, I've had the heating up and running now for probably 15-20 minutes or so, and let's go round and I'll show you the heat coming out the rads. See, that one in the lounge is perfect. The customer said to me about this rad, he said, Mark, do you think it gives out enough heat? And do you think I need to change it? So I could have gone, yeah, because Andy would have just gone with whatever I said. And if I'd have said, yeah, you need a double rad on there, blah, 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 he'd have just said do it. But that rad is chucking out plenty of heat. It's only a little small room. You know, straight away with that rad being on for 10-15 minutes, you can feel the heat in that room. The house was cold when we came in. Again, with this one, perfect, that's running fine. That's just got them little air vents that we need to take a look at and get them swapped out. We'll go over that in a minute. This one, perfect. Do you know what's quite surprising is this front one has the vent pin missing or snapped off, but it's still holding the heat. Obviously you can just undo that and let the air out, but ideal world, you'd use the vent, the actual pin. This one, again, nice and warm. Heating's working fine now. Now Andy, the client, said to me the customer reported that the towel rail in the bathroom wasn't working. You can't pick towel rails up with these because of the chrome. I turned that valve on, it's red hot now. So, to be honest, the heating system is spot on. So all we've got to do now is change them pins, them plugs on the radiators, because this one has got both of them snapped off. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to change them. It involves a wet vac and some quick fingers. So when I knew this job was coming up, I looked on Google to see if I could find some Meissen Stelrad vent plugs. And there we go, found some, Amazon. So I think they were like £6 or something like that on Amazon. They would probably have been able to get them in Plumbase, but I looked on Amazon, seen them and went, do you know what, I'll just order them the next day. They were at the house. So we've got 4, I've got another couple of packets of them there. So I think they're about £5 each. So we've got them. What I'm gonna do is turn that off there on the lock shield, turn it off on the vent, let the heat come out of this, and then with the aquavac by my side, I'll get it underneath here. When the heat's come out of this rad, get it underneath here, with them turned off, there's no pressure in it, and we'll just crack this and take this vent out, and hopefully the new one will just go in. The customer did say about the paint coming off here. Now I've checked it and it's not corroding. It's a little bit surface corrosion. It's not from the inside of the rad. So we're going to rub that down and get that touched up so it doesn't look like that, and we'll wipe it down and get it all looking neat. But the main thing is to get that plug replaced, and the other 2 rads upstairs. One needs 2 and one needs 1. This rad's now been off for a good 15 minutes or so. It's cooled right down. So I'm going to try and get this pin, or this vent plug, should we call it, out the top, because the pin's snapped off in it. So, I mean, some people would drill that out. I just think, let's try and remove that and pop one of our new ones in. So what I'm gonna do, with that off, we're gonna have a little bit of pressure behind it. What I'm gonna do is just crack that, get the aquavac on it, ready here, and then suck out that top part of the water, out the rad, and then we should be pretty plain sailing then. Should be good to go. There you go, it seems to be coming out fairly easily. So let's just get the aquavac on it. There we go, we've got it out. I've got the old plug here and just sucked out enough of the water. So what I'm going to do is dry this off completely, rub this down a little bit, touch this in before we get the new plug. So don't drop it and lose it behind the rad. Before we get the new plug in. So on this plug, I don't know if you can pick it up, there's a rubber sort of washer grommet around the top. So I'm not going to put anything on it. I'm not going to put any paste or PTFE tape or anything like that on it, and try it first. There's no hassle popping this back, turning this back off, letting it cool down if it is passing. But for now, I just want to see if we can get it in without any other stuff in it apart from that washer that's on it. So that's in. I'm just going to touch up around there, clean that area up, and then get this rad back on, test this one, make sure this one's fine, then we'll go and do the others. So as you'll see, we get a tiny little bit of water come out of this rad, and I think it's just where a little bit of pressure built up in the rad where we undone that vent plug out of it, but nothing to worry about. We soon got the other one straight back in. So that's that one changed as well, and we've just got the last one to do on the back of this rad here. So we've done the other one in the bedroom, the one downstairs, and this was the double one. So let's get this one out and get a new one in. So we're just going to do exactly what we've done with the other ones, get the aquavac underneath it, crack this off, and then get our new plug and vent in. To be fair, we've done that side, so in theory we shouldn't have any, if a tiny little bit of water this side. There we go. Again, we're just going to use the rubber washer that is on there. The face is fine, so with that one out, just get a new one in. Just screws straight in, tighten it up. I know people are going to say, oh, you shouldn't have used those grips, you should have used some little adjustables, but I'm not putting that much pressure on that it's going to damage the vent. So there's nothing to worry about. Right, just nip that one up. Again, they don't have to be massively tight. And then we'll turn on this side. And turn this side back on. And then what we can do as well is give it a bit of a vent. It's pressurised back up anyway. Because all we did was shut the valves off. So with those done now, let's get the heating back on, run these back up to temperature just to completely double check everything's all right, and we should be good to go.